How can individuals find new ways of creating peace or joy during Christmas, especially those who will be spending Christmas alone?
Well, I think before we start getting into new ways, we should actually look at some of the practices that this season brings with it. When you look at the end of year celebration, it's about getting together, a time of connecting to others, it's a time of sharing, it's a time of celebration. And I think some of these practices actually do enhance person's mood. We also have caroling or singing. Can be a part of different groups. And when you look at some of these practices, they are geared to bringing persons closer together and to enhance your mood. So there are some other things you can do in terms of your own personal development. Ensure that you maintain a healthy exercise routine. Ensure that you do not overindulge in the other aspects of the season, like eating too much or drinking and partying. But all in all, most of the celebratory activities that happen at the end of the year are actually geared to enhance people's functionalities, their moods, their connectivity, because we recognize from historical times that as we get close to what we don't have the winter season, but this is the winter time, persons tend to become more depressed, tend to be more sad, more isolated. And so we create celebratory practices that enhance connectivity, enhance caring for others, enhance sharing, and enhances our ability to appreciate the things that we have. And so those practices are in essence some of the best things to get you out of the holiday blues, even if you're by yourself and alone. Because the opportunity to connect to persons during this time is a lot. It's great. Great.
How can people balance the societal expectations of Christmas cheer with their own emotional reality?
Well, I think the societal expectations are twofold. There's a traditional expectation where persons are expected to be more giving, more caring, more connected to each other. And I think that in itself is a good thing. And I think we should encourage ourselves and others to participate in that sort of practice. But there's also the commercial aspect. And let us not be fooled. During this time, there's a lot of commercialization and capitalist fervor that people try to move goods and services. So I think one of the issues that we have always struggled with is how to maintain our focus on the reason for the season, which is to enhance our ability to connect as a community, rekindle with family, to spend time together, to actually support each other and care for each other, as to the expectation of buying gifts for kids, buying gifts for everyone else. So it's important for us first to set an objective and a goal for ourselves during this season of what we want to do, things we want to accomplish. And we also need to understand that even if you buy expensive gifts or not expensive gifts, by the end of the Christmas season, the gifts are gone. The only thing that lasts are the memories that you build with the person you care for and love. And that includes all your family members, friends, significant others, etc. It's really just about the time being spent together. So we have to first set our own objectives for the season, and we have to see what we should focus on, what is important, and do that.
What are the self care practices that can be beneficial during the Christmas season for those dealing with mental health challenges, and how can these practices be integrated into holiday routines?
So, when it comes to self care, one of the issues that we tend to have is during the time of, well, most people say silly season, but I don't like the terminology. I think end of year celebration is more appropriate. Persons tend to be a little bit more lenient in their structure, their scheduling, but there are some things that you shouldn't let slide, such as physical exercise, such as eating properly, ensuring that you get sufficient sleep. So that those essential activities you should pay attention to first. There are others that you can actually vary depending on what you're doing. So, for example, we all know that during this time, work tends to take a slow crawl towards December. But there are things you can do to ensure that you enhance your productivity. Focus more on reflective activities, focus on catching up on things that you want to plan for the year ahead, and try to be as diverse as you can in some of the things that you do. And also maintain connection with others, both in the workplace and in your social life, because it is about social connectivity for the season. And so those are some of the things that you can put in place for yourself and also encourage other persons to do some of these things so that they can deal with some of the issues that they may be dealing with. Remember, this is a time about connecting and caring for others. So I think that should be at the fore of what we do. All right. So I think what we need to understand is throughout human history, we've recognized, even throughout ancient times when we were hunters and gatherers, the winter time has always been a challenging time for survival. Food is scarce. And so a lot of the practices that we see developing, not just in the Christian faith, but other religions, other cultures, we all have a celebratory festival around this time of year that is focused on coming together and sharing. Because in historical times, that was essential for the survival of our species. And so part of the challenge is understanding that these practices have followed through to today. And what we're trying to do in this time is to prevent the emotional challenges that tend to come about this time of year, as most of the studies show that we have persons suffering from seasonal affective disorders who get depressed during Christmas season. We know that there's this issue of the holiday blues, which may not necessarily be clinically problematic, but certainly it causes enough distress that we have to pay attention to it. And so getting involved in some of the practices, irrespective of culture or religious persuasion, is important, because this type of year is about connecting, caring, and ensuring that we are able to move past this difficult and challenging time and enjoy it. And we also need to appreciate that there are other things that have been done. So one of the things I can notice is that there are beautiful colors and bright lights in front of me for the trees and the lighting, and enhancing the environment actually helps us with a practice that has been finding itself back in the realm of psychology, which is called mindfulness, getting your brain to focus on the day-to-day moments. And so enhancing the environment, looking at the pretty lights, the beautiful colors, helps you to focus your mind. And that in itself helps to temper anxiety, depression, and sadness.